morning, everyone. Good evening and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is Denzomos, and you're welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empaths free. If you are new on this channel, I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. I talk about spirituality, and I talk about personal and self-growth. And if any of that resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us. Give us a like, share the video with friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back. And I thank you for your love and support. Now, regardless of the chaos that you see going on between the narcissist and the empath, there's going to come a time and the narcissist is going to become silent. The narcissist is going to become silent. The narcissist is going to go ghost. A lot of you guys who are not aware of this, there comes a period in time whereby your abusers, could be psychopaths or I don't know, whatever, sociopaths, they go ghost. They become quiet. It's like they don't exist. It's like you've never seen them. You've never seen them before. They're nowhere to be seen. They have disappeared into thin air. Now you see, the narcissist feeds off of chaos. So the narcissist thrives off of chaos. When you guys have been discarded, or the narcissist has discarded you either way, you're going to realize one thing. The narcissist, they'll keep on running in circles after you. You know, most of the times they might have moved on with a new supply, so they're going to keep on running in circles. They'll keep on checking on your social medias. They'll keep on tagging your phone. They'll keep on tapping your phone. They'll keep on sending you messages. They'll keep on stalking you. You'll keep on seeing them in front of you each and every single day. Most of the times, the narcissist, I've told you guys, they have not let you go. So what usually happens is, the narcissist is going to keep on following you everywhere that you go. They will be swarming around your life, your areas like bees. You know what I mean? So basically what happens is that the narcissist, he's going to do this for as long as you have not yet really figured out who they are. Now you see, in my own case, in my own situation, my own experience, I remember after the first discard, in those days the narcissist already was seeing somebody new. So there was somebody new, there was a new supply in that time. But in my case, I was wondering why is the narcissist, why is this particular individual? Because remember guys, in those days I did not know anything about narcissism. I was thinking in my mind, why is the narcissist still around? Why are they still hanging around after whatever it is has happened between us? Why are they still hanging around? Why are they still following me? Why were they still keeping a tag on me? So I didn't understand the dynamics. You see, those individuals, when you guys have separated, it's not the end of it. You're going to see more and more of them. They are going to keep on appearing in your presence. But you see, there's one thing, what happens? There comes a time when you wake up. So there comes a time when you snap. Eventually you're going to snap. It doesn't matter who you are. If you have been involved with the narcissist, at some point in time, God willing, you will snap. When you snap, basically, let me tell you something. Something happens in that entanglement. Something happens. There's a shift that happens between the two of you. There's a shift that happens between you and the narcissist. And most of the times when you're waking up, the narcissist is going to feel that shift. Because you see, the narcissist is attached with you. The narcissist is attached to you and you are attached to the narcissist in something what they call a trauma bond. So you guys are completely like stuck together like glue, like that. But the moment when you snap, when you awaken, when you finally figure out what is going on, that is exactly when this thing breaks. So this thing starts to break. This attachment between you and the narcissist, it starts to break. So there's an emotional disconnection happening between the two of you. And usually what happens is that the narcissist, they will feel that shift. If you guys are still living together in the same vicinity, and you're still living together in that same house, in that moment of the shift, when the shift happens, that's when you're going to see the narcissist is going to start avoiding you in the house. So even if you guys go to bed or something like that, it's time for sleep, you guys are going to bed, you're going to notice the narcissist is making excuses. They want to sleep in the couch. You or the narcissist, you want to sleep in the couch. Either one of you wants to go and sleep in the couch. So you do not want to share you don't even want to share a bed with them. One thing I've got to understand, guys, let me tell you something. The very moment the empath snaps, that empath is going to realize whatever it is the narcissist has been doing to them. So the empath is going to come to that awareness, a full awareness, a general awareness of what exactly the narcissist has been doing to them for a very long time. And at that moment, guys, let me tell you something. When that moment comes, when that moment happens, that is exactly when you're going to disconnect. It may not necessarily be physically, in the physical sense, but you're even sometimes going to, first of all, disconnect emotionally. So most of the time, you're going to realize this particular individual, there's nothing you're going to offer them. So you're not going to offer them any reaction whatsoever, no matter what they do. So what the empath does, they cut off the supply chains and they cut off the fuel. So you guys might have heard something what they call starving the narcissist. The empath has cut off the supply chain from the narcissist, and they have stopped feeding in to that fear and feeding the narcissist with fuel. So the narcissist now, they start to starve most of the times. That's why you see, for a lot of you guys who have already been separated with the narcissist, you have already moved on far away from them, so you're no longer seeing them or things like that. They are far away from you. The narcissist, the moment they notice you have figured out their narcissist, because you see, let me tell you something, a lot of these narcissists, there are some of them, they know who they are. There are some of them they do not know, but it doesn't matter anyway. But there are some of them, they know who they are. They know that they are narcissists, and they've been hiding this from you from day one. So most of the times when you snap, the first thing what the empath will do, you cut off the supply chains. You cut off the cables. So they'll start trying to send you around these messages, these little texts, trying to see what you're doing, trying to push your buttons, trying to trigger you here and there. You know what I mean? Because I've told you guys, the narcissist will always do everything in their power to make sure that they keep you as a source of supply. So they will be trying to trigger you each and every single day, regardless of whether you're living with them or not. Regardless of whether you're living with them or not. In that moment when you snap, that is when you're going to feed the narcissist with poison. So how do you feed the narcissist with poison? The moment when the narcissist wants to trigger you and to push a button, number one, you're not going to react. And number two, even if you're going to react and you must react, you're going to give them a taste of their own medicine. Because at that moment, remember, you have already snapped. Now you understand. You can understand what is going on. You can understand these vampires for who they are. So what happens is that now what you do, whenever they're triggering you, whenever they're trying to push your buttons, whenever they are trying to find you or trying to say something to you that is going to make you feel some kind of a way, you are giving them a taste of their own medicine. So what do I mean by this? You're actually starting to mirror them back their narcissism. You're mirroring back their narcissism. And let me tell you something. As much as the narcissists know, most of the times what they're doing to people, they do not want to test what narcissism feels like. Let me repeat this. As much as narcissists know what they're doing to people, they do not want a person mirroring to them and telling them exactly what are they doing to people and the way they are behaving. So you cannot mirror back that personality to them because they do not want to have a taste of that. You might have handled that for years. But there's one thing you're going to do to a narcissist. When you mirror back their personality, their behaviors and personality and whatever, their character to them, when you mirror their actions back to them, that narcissist you're going to cause that narcissist an injury. So that is exactly when the empath becomes a narcissistic poison, because you have figured out these are vampires. You have figured out these are demons. So what are you doing now? You're taking all of your power back. That is number one. You're starting to fight back. You're taking back your power, then you're starting to fight back. And now what you're doing, whatever it is coming from the narcissist, you're mirroring it back to them. You're mirroring it back at them. And that is when you make the narcissist feel and taste their own poison. So it is like all this poison they have been giving you, sending all your way all these years. Now for the very first time, you're able to mirror back that poison to them. And let me tell you something, that is exactly when you cause them an injury, because those narcissists, now you're showing them exactly who they are. So when you've been wondering, why all of a sudden these people, they have been shouting around, they have been following me, they have been stalking you, they have been doing this. They have been trying to find out what is going on with you, and all of a sudden they are quiet. They have run away, they have disappeared. You have got to know the narcissist has finally figured out, they have understood that actually you're awake. You have snapped and you woke, so you really know what is going on. You know what I mean? So most of the times, This particular event, it terrifies a narcissist. When a narcissist has been abusing you and manipulating and gaslighting you, all these kind of things for years, the moment when this thing ends and it comes to a stop and you have awakened and you figure that these are vampires and emotional vampires, and now you're giving them a taste of their own medicine, I can guarantee you guys, it does not matter what it does not matter what category of them they are, it does not matter who they are going to run very far away from you. They are going to disappear. You'll never see them again. Because whenever they see you, whenever they look at you, they know what is going to come from your mouth and they know what exactly you're going to do to them. You may not even sometimes have to touch them physically, but you're going to show them everything about their narcissism, everything that they've been hiding behind the mask, and everything that they don't want to be. They are already, but they don't want to be, and they cannot acknowledge that. So you are now giving them back that taste of their own medicine, and that is exactly when the empath actually becomes a narcissist poison. And that is the moment when the narcissist they are going to go ghost. Let me tell you something. I'm talking about this thing from experience. You will never have a message from the narcissist. You will never see the narcissist in your vicinity. The narcissist is going to run very far away from you. It's going to look as if you don't exist on this planet. Either way, the narcissist is also going to look as if they don't exist on this planet. They are going to hide. Whenever they see you, they're going to move the other direction. They will never be able to come and face you face to face, because they already know, you know what they've been doing to you. So that's what causes the disappearance. The disappearance can also be caused in another way, whereby sometimes the narcissist, so they have stepped into this new entanglement with a new supply, with a new source of supply. So eventually, they are still putting things together. They are still trying to establish this foundation, the foundation of that entanglement. You know what I mean? Because I've told you guys, when a narcissist figures out and they have trapped somebody into those entanglements, so normally they are going to use those first few months to establish that entanglement. So they do whatever it is they can to make sure that they plant a very strong foundation for that entanglement to work. So sometimes it requires them to get away from you. You know what I mean? That can be another way. The other way is disappearing because you figure them out and now you're giving them a taste of their own poison. Number two, it is a case whereby the narcissist, they are establishing that foundation. So they are now starting to become very comfortable in that entanglement. You know what I mean? So they no longer view you as a main source of supply, because at that moment they have replaced you. They have got a supply chain A. At that moment, you have become a supply chain B. But now their priority is to feed off of that supply chain A, which I'm talking about the new supply who has come into that entanglement. So they want to make sure they establish that foundation, and when it is established, that food chain is as fulfilling as it can get, whereby now sometimes they do not even need you to they don't need you to feed off. They don't need you to feed. So they have already found somebody, a food source that they're going to feed on for a good number of time, at least for a while. So they are into a new entanglement. They are establishing that entanglement. And it is as sweet as it can get for the narcissist, because I've told you guys the narcissists, they feed off of people. You know what I mean? So supply chain A has been established and the narcissist is happy at the moment. At that moment, apparently, temporarily he's happy, so they do not need you as a source of supply. But also, on the other hand, it can happen in a way that you have actually awakened from this abuse. You have found out these individuals are narcissists. These are emotional vampires, and you've cut the supply chains off, and there is nothing else you can ever feed to them permanently forever. So they will never get anything from you, no matter what it is. Even if they try to force their way into your life, to force their way into your vicinity, into your area, into your space, you're going to give back to them that poison that they have been feeding you for years when you've been with them. So guys, of course, you always know I love and appreciate your support. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below, guys. Until then, it's been lovely to have you guys on board. Much love and blessings. Desmos signing out. Peace.